Good morning. So I am doing a quick walkthrough on a new tool that I purchased, which is called Sales Robot. And basically what it is, let me just make you myself a little bit bigger. Hey. Basically what it is AI generated scripts that help you to do outreach on LinkedIn. Now I find LinkedIn is very efficient. People are there for business. You do know you will be pitched at some point. So getting random messages in your inbox is normal. However, I still get the cringe when people, basically they tell you, I looked at your profile and you need to do this and this and this, which basically means you are absolutely useless in this and this department. And here I am, your rescuer. And maybe this is just in my head, but let's be honest, nobody likes to be told that they're not entirely great at something. So my issue has always been that it's kind of sleazy and cringy and when people reach out that way. Not to say that it doesn't help. I've had people do that and I've also purchased that way, so it works. It definitely works. So it also obviously depends on what you're selling. If you're selling a software, something quite impersonal, then you have a different way of reaching things out. If you have a huge startup or a company that is already catering for thousands, it doesn't matter. It's a numbers game. However, I am a small business owner and my business is still personal. I pick my private clients very carefully because I only work with a handful. So me reaching out the same way doesn't make sense. And I really implement in my business and treat people the way that I would like to be treated. So I was wondering if this could make things a little bit different. Even though it is obviously auto-generated, but at the same time, lead generation is obviously something we all need to be aware of. And follow-up and numbers game does work. So I'm going to walk you through this and show you a little bit what the different scripts are and how I tweaked them. So let me just get myself out of the way and a little bit smaller. All right. So basically what you do is you first have to connect your LinkedIn account and then you can import a list into your, yes, and I haven't launched this yet, which is fine. So it's not entirely imported yet. So I'm going to wait for that. So anyway, you have to import a list. And you can do that on LinkedIn either by using the general search function. However, I found that quite limited. So I do recommend signing up for Sales Navigator that allows you a little bit more of a precise search function. Now, you do also need to know that you can't export a CSV file or a spreadsheet from LinkedIn Navigator. And also LinkedIn Navigator does not allow gender-based search. So you can't click like on Facebook, you can't click like women or men. You can't click age either, which is interesting. And also, for diversity reasons, anyway, different discussion. But what I did for my purposes as a business consultant is I looked for she, her as a search key, because that would really help to, it's scraping the content for that. I also looked for self-employed, people who are a little bit more seasoned in business. So I did 3 to 5 years, also 6 to 10 years. So basically people in business between 3 to 10 years, which kind of eliminates the complete beginners for me. So I looked for that. I also looked for self-employed. I looked for people in Europe. US is not a priority at this moment. And I think that's basically it. I think that was my criterion. I then took the link of that search and basically I can show you what a new campaign looks like. So this would be test. You can import from a CSV, which I say you have to have a third-party tool to do on LinkedIn. You can add your Sales Navigator link, and it took me a while to find it. You have to add it here, which it's so like I was like clicking on this, I was clicking on this, nothing works. You have to copy paste it here. Or from a regular LinkedIn search, which is quite a vague. Something I also like is that you can use hashtags. So you could just use entrepreneurs, for example, or small business. However, I like it. It's also, though, I also have people who just write a post and they're super inspired by entrepreneurs, but they have nothing really to do with entrepreneurship. So it depends again on what you're selling, I guess. You have also people who commented on a particular posts. I don't really have that many people commenting on my posts, so this doesn't make sense for me. But if you have like a a huge company or a media outlet, then this would work. People from a group, people from a contact list, and also people in an event. This might be interesting, actually, because sometimes you have entrepreneur events or small business events, and they have an ad on LinkedIn, or they have the event on LinkedIn, even if it doesn't take place there, and you can talk to them, which is all interesting. Anyway, I'm going to go back, and then you can basically create a sequence and a campaign, and they have different templates. So they have, they have just outreach. I'm just going to delete this. They have like just outreach. They have scripts for Corona times. I used the AI connection request and also follow up, but I modified it basically, and I will show you what it looks like if I can. How do I actually see this? Start? No, I don't want to start it yet. This is a good question. How do I complete campaign? Here we go. So this is what it looks like. You have different steps that you can basically create. Now, the regular campaign, it basically starts with a connection request, and then it has, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 follow-up messages or more. And that's just too much. The last one is like just the name with a question mark. And I'm just like, no, even though it might be efficient, it's not something that I want to do. I really want to schmooze up to people. So the way that I did this is, and I'm going to save this as a template actually, she, her campaign, Feb 2023. Okay. I start with sneaking and viewing their profile. Now, if they don't have premium account, they will not see, and we don't have mutual connections, they won't know that I viewed their profile. But if they do, they will already see my face. Then I will like their most recent post. I will sneak and view their profile again. And then I will use a connection request. Now, I don't send all of these 4. These are 4 options that will be pre-filled with, like, you have customized tags with elements. And I've customized those because the original text was a little bit too generic. So for me, it's, hey, Christine, for example, I saw that you've been in business and entrepreneurship for a while, because I targeted companies between 3 and 10 years in business, like me, personalize it, and thought you might want to connect. This is the first one, is I love the glowing recommendation from, and they will pull the top recommendation person if there is one. If there isn't one, they will check for number 2, and you can say which one you want to go, they want to look for first. But obviously, if the profile doesn't have a recommendation, they will try the next one, which is commenting on a volunteer experience. Now, if they don't have that in their profile, they will look for mutual connections. And I also added another sentence. I thought you might want to connect. I'm always interested in learning more about fellow entrepreneurs and their companies, like Christine Means Business in my case, or whatever their company name might be. So we have 3 personalized tags: their name, mutual connections, and their company name. If there's nothing in common, then it's hello, Christine, and I'm just adding the sentence about wanting to know about their company name. And I do, I'm generally always interested in that. If they accept, an hour later, I will send this message, which is, I think they were just like, hey, I see you're active on LinkedIn. How do you find it on here? Which I'm like, I don't have time to answer that question. It's just ridiculous, just too generic. So I changed it and I said, so wonderful to connect, Christine. So you're usually active on LinkedIn. So are you usually active on LinkedIn, or did I just catch you by coincidence? I personally prefer to other social media platforms. I find it more focused, but feel free to share any other platforms with me that I can support you on. So I'm going to save that. And then 5 days later, I don't want to chase them straight away. I'm going to invite them to my free business sessions. I just wanted to pop in and ask you something. I'm not sure if this applies to you, but over here in Luxembourg, it's actually not that easy to connect with kindred spirits who are also self-employed and entrepreneurs. I organize monthly work sessions online to bounce ideas off fellow business owners and help and support each other. Let me know if you might want to join to talk about your company proceeding its business with just a handful, as they will run too long otherwise. Or let someone know who might need these. And that's it. And after that, I'm not chasing them again. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to use save mode, which means that it will be batched out and that it's only after business hours to not annoy anyone. So this is, I haven't started it yet. So let's start the campaign. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. I think I'm happy with this. And, you know, sometimes in business, you need to not take things personally. So that's how I do it. If you're interested in how it went, let me know. I will have this one and then update you once I have results. Talk very soon.